What's up, guys? It's Tyler with Hooksets Are Free. Hope you're having a great night. It is a Wednesday night, April 28th, 2021. So, I don't usually stream on Wednesday nights, so I don't know how many people are actually going to be in here hanging out tonight. But just wanted to hop in. My opportunities are fewer and further between these days, just while my wife is still on maternity leave, and we've got a newborn baby here at the house. So our baby Wills is now 7 weeks old. Will be 2 months in just about 10 days or so. So all is going well here, but obviously I haven't been streaming or posting nearly as frequently. I've been active still on Instagram if you follow me there, but haven't been on YouTube too much. So just wanted to hop in here and hang out with you guys for a little bit. Thank you very much, Riley. So far, so good. Hope your week is going well also. I can't tell if the chat is frozen or what. Oh. Hopefully we don't have any issues here. I had a little bit of low battery life there, so I'm hoping that after plugging that in, wow, one person in here, 2 thumbs up already. That's pretty wild. I may or may not have an alarm go off in about 10 minutes, so if all of a sudden I freeze right here at 11 p.m. Eastern, let me know. All right. Just got done yesterday with a state tournament. Are you talking about bass fishing, or are you talking about weightlifting, Riley? What kind of state tournament are you talking about, and how did it go? I'm curious to know how you performed, how it went, and if you liked it or not. Justin, what's up, dude? Your internet net is down. You got low reception due to tower maintenance. No big deal, man. My internet's a little bit choppy from time to time, as you guys know, so don't worry about it if it's a little bit sketchy, but if it happens to be okay, you should hang out in here for a little bit, because I've got a cool package that I want to show you guys that came all the way from Europe, Denmark specifically, and yeah, this is from none other than Westin Fishing. I don't know if you guys are familiar with them as a company or not. Yo, I had some scissors around here. Of course, I got hooks galore, but I brought some scissors down to open this box up, and that is a little bit annoying that I don't have it on me. So, Riley said her state tournament was for fishing. She got 8th out of 50 with 3 fish, total weight of 16.7 pounds. Right on, Riley. Congratulations on the 8th place finish. 8th place is not bad, especially out of 50 boats, 50 teams, and 16 pounds for 3 fish is pretty solid. So, what was your big fish? Did you have like a 6-pounder in there? Because that is sweet. And congratulations, and I hope more than anything that you just enjoyed the process and are looking forward to doing it again. Because remind me, Riley, are you a sophomore or are you a junior at this point? Okay, guys, so I thought I would give people a couple minutes to hop in here, and I don't know how many people we're going to end up with in here when all is said and done. It might just be the 3 of us. Might be 1 or 2 people hopping in here from time to time. So this isn't going to be a long stream no matter, but I wanted to give you guys the opportunity to check these out and get my reaction as I open them in real time. I got this package in the mail yesterday and have not had an opportunity to open it or check these products out just yet. So here is the scoop. Westin Fishing is a company that you guys have probably heard of because they've been in some mystery tackle boxes and they've had some somewhat gimmicky products. I don't want to use that word just because I feel like it speaks badly or suggests negative things about them. But the couple products that they had out were like Freddy the Frog and Danny the Duck, and maybe a couple of other ones that that people would have gotten in mystery tackle boxes or otherwise over the last couple of years. And this is a company based out of Europe, but which has slowly been making progress to enter the U.S. market. And it wasn't until just very recently that they created a U.S. website and have dedicated social media platforms that are catering to U.S. fishermen and fisherwomen as opposed to international folks. So they reached out to me not long ago and asked me what I knew about the company and if I might be interested in checking some of their stuff out. And my first instinct was to say no. Yes, I had heard of them and generally thought their stuff was interesting, but that I wasn't interested in checking their stuff out or working with them because for the most part I do have an exclusive arrangement with Discount Tackle, or at least I feel loyal to Discount Tackle because of the good relationship that we've got, and I don't want to confuse them or do wrong by them by working with other companies. I feel like that would reflect poorly on me. So I actually went back to Westin and said, hey, listen, I didn't realize, but Discount Tackle does carry some of your products. And so a way that we could kind of meet in the middle is if I could check out those products, then I could help promote you guys and Discount Tackle at the same time and help sell some of your product through Discount Tackle and then potentially encourage Discount Tackle to, restock or pick up some other products as well. So ultimately that's what we did. The process took a few months to really get all of our stuff together. Like they were developing their website online, which I should tell you right now, it's westin-fishing.com/US. Okay? It's a new website, a little bit tricky to navigate at times, but has a really wide variety of products, very high quality stuff. But as you'll notice, because they're based out of Europe, that there is a few hidden costs. Being from the European Union, they've got a unique tax that has to be added on, like an import tax or an export tax. I should know what I'm talking about. And then they also charge an arm and a leg for shipping. So those are two things that make it a little less than ideal to order direct from westinfishing.com/US, like from them directly. However, more and more places are carrying their stuff. Like I said, Discount Tackle does. I know that Carl's Bait and Tackle does, and Tackle Warehouse carries some of their stuff. So I'm going to show you what I decided to pick up, and I have not seen this in person at all, and this should be a fun little unboxing to do. So they sent me some decals. I think these are all decals, not stickers, but I could be wrong. So cool little sheet of decals or stickers, whatever they are. Riley said her biggest fish was an 8.3. Hell yeah, Riley. That's baller. Justin, no problem. I hope your internet gets fixed. Okay, you're going to watch as much as you can right now? Right on, dude. Well, let's dig in because This is wicked, guys. Should I start with hard baits? I'll start with the glide bait. So this is a hard bait from Westin called the Hypotees. It says it's a suspending bait. A couple things on the package say that it's lead free. It's got Japanese style hooks, and I got this one in each size, and both of these are in the smelt color. So really cool natural color pattern here, and I'm going to pull them both out of the package. I'm pretty much going to take everything out of the package for you to see these. Darren in the house, what's up, man? Brian Waterman, what's up, dude? Hope you guys are having a good night. I've got a sweet little package here with stuff from Westin Fishing, stuff that I've never seen or tried, and want to show you guys these baits. So this is called the Hypotees. This is a single jointed glide bait, so hard plastic bait here. They're relatively light for their size. So let me just tell you right now, this is the smaller size, and it is pretty small. It's 5.5 inches long, and it weighs just 3/4 of an ounce. So check out this color pattern. We've got kind of a green on top, this beautiful clear body with a little bit of purple, orange, blue on the belly, and then some yellow and blue on the tail. You guys will see some pictures of these baits posted on Instagram in the next few days to few weeks. You'll see it printed on the bottom are a couple key details. Up at the nose it says 0 to 0.3 meters. So this is a super shallow bait. It's a suspender, not a sinker. So this thing runs high in the water column, suspending 21 grams, it says. Now the larger size, on the other hand, is a little bit bigger and a little bit more substantial. This guy right here is 7 1/8 inches and weighs 1 9/16 ounces. So a little over 1.5 ounces and a little over 7 inches. So either way, very manageable glide baits. It's got fixed weights, no rattle system, so it is quiet, and it should have a pretty natural swim. It doesn't have a ton of play in terms of the joints here, but I would say a little bit more than like an S waver. So I'll be very curious to see how this swims and how it compares to something like, this is probably closest to the S Waver 168, and I don't have any small glide baits, so this tiny little guy, the Hypotees in the 5.5 inch, should be really interesting to see kind of how it compares and what kind of action it has, especially since it rides so shallow. Now this one says also 0 to 0.3 meters. So both of these are very shallow running baits, suspending. So haven't really seen that before with a glide bait to be a real suspender up shallow in the water. But I dig that. Now let's just kind of stay on the topic of hard baits because yeah, why not? Speaking of gimmicky, Brian, Darren, appreciate you guys being in here. Brian says he's been catching them on a 5-inch spark shad, and it was awesome. Biggest one was around 6 pounds. Sweet, dude. Yeah, 5-inch spark shad is a great bait, man. Got one sitting right there. Love that. Great bait. Okay, guys. So this guy right here is called Mike the Pike. This is a sick little swim bait. I don't know if I should say little swim bait, but it's a very realistic looking pike swim bait. So it's a multi-jointed bait. It's got 2 joints, 3 pieces. So this is going to have a little bit more of a natural swimming action to it than, say, those glide baits. And as I said, this is called Mike the Pike. Some of their names are a little bit goofy, like we talked about, Danny the Duck and some of those other ones. But Mike the Pike, this is super realistic looking. And I got it in a really realistic color pattern too. So yeah, this is the Pike color pattern. This thing weighs in at 80 grams. So it's, 2 and 13/16 ounces. Okay? So about 2 3/4, almost 3 ounces. This is a decent sized swim bait, but not overly big. This thing measures in at 8.5, 8 5/8 inches long. So I will be throwing this thing on, you know, my standard Dobbins 795 swim bait setup. Because this thing's under 3 ounces, it should throw no problem on that 795. If it were a little bit heavier, I might consider stepping up to something a little bit heavier, but I think this will manage just fine. So this is a sinking swim bait. I'm not quite sure how fast it will sink. You know, if this thing is going to be quicker than 1 foot per second or not, but it says that its running depth tends to be in the 0.5 to 1.5 meters. Okay, so that's right in that 2 to 5 feet range, and that works for me, no doubt about it. Mike the Pike, looking good, yo. Okay, I know I've got 1 or 2 more hard baits. Let's try and find these. Holy shnikes, is that what I ordered? All right, so we got 2 more in here. I'm gonna have to cut these open with scissors. So now I'm gonna have to actually find the scissors that I brought down here. Sorry guys, hang on for 1 second. And why aren't my scissors more readily accessible? What the H, yo? Should just have a pair sitting around. I can't seem to find them at the moment. And guys, I apologize for that. Here they are. Frickin' A. Okay. So I will indeed open these for you right now. This right here, next up, is Mike the Pike, but in a lipped version. So this is not as large of a swim bait, but it's different. This is the 2nd generation Mike the Pike. This is a slow sink version, and it's got a hard head and a soft body. Okay, I don't know if you guys are familiar with these types of baits, but let's see if I can pull it out for you, because these can be pretty sweet. Looks like we got Matthew up in the house, man. What's up, dude? Yeah, I know that Savage Gear makes a pike bait too. Will Perriman in the building. He's got 4 pairs of scissors. Yeah, I do too. I just don't have them down here. They're in my fishing bag for some reason, man. And I wish I could tell you why I don't have one just on me at all times. I literally went out to my bag in the garage to retrieve this one pair of scissors, and then I lost it in the process of getting all my stuff set up. So, kind of annoying. Holy. They packaged this thing really well, and I am absolutely destroying the packaging, trying to get it out of here. And I'm trying not to destroy the bait either. Well, I can guarantee you guys, this one's probably not going to be a part of a future giveaway. Unless I fish it and just don't see it working in my situations, but that it could for someone else. So, this is a very different bait than the one that I just showed you in a couple of different ways. This thing runs 1 to 3 meters. It is a slow sinking bait. It has a slide, like a locking system in here, okay? So I've got a couple baits like this where you can change out the tail. I don't know that I want to embarrass myself too much right now on camera, but if you can see, there is a little mold spot there. You can click this soft tail out and change it out for a new one once this thing gets destroyed. So the head is made from hard plastic, and the entire tail section of the body is made from soft plastic. So you get a very realistic action out of these fins and out of the body swimming. As you can see, Westin prints on the lip. It says 1 to 3 meters. And then on the bottom of the bait, it says slow sink, 70 grams. Okay? So, 70 grams puts us at, 2.5 ounces, whereas that other Mike the Pike, the hard bait, is 80 grams, a little bit closer to 3. And one thing I didn't notice about this Mike the Pike, it's got rattles in it, and it's got 2 line ties. So the front line tie is going to make the bait dive a little bit more subsurface, and the top one is going to make it run a little bit higher in the water column, okay? So the fins on this hard bait are a little bit stiffer, but they're still soft, as is the tail. Whereas on this other Gen 2 version of Mike the Pike, this is super soft. These things just wiggle, okay? Now, I thought I was getting a slightly different color pattern than this bright green one, but they call it Baltic Pike, apparently. Now, another one that's going to be hard to get out of the package, so I might just save you guys the hassle, unless you tell me in the comment section that you want me to get this thing out of the package, then I will. But this is a very similar type of bait. Instead of Mike the Pike, it's Percy the Perch. So, same concept here. They call it a hybrid lure. If you check out their website, which again is westin-fishing.com/US. So it's got this hard plastic head with a lip, and then it's got the clip system so that you can remove and change out the bodies if and when they get destroyed. This is a 2-hook version compared to that Pike being a 1-hook, and being that it's a yellow perch, this thing has a little bit bigger of a profile. So this bad boy measures 200 millimeters, so 8 inches long, and 100 grams. Interesting that even on the packaging here, they are not catering to U.S. customers at all. Now, of course, everything's written in English, but they really only label things in meters and in grams and in millimeters. So 200 millimeters and 100 grams. So that's going to be about a what? Almost 3.5 ounce bait and 8 inches long. So pretty sweet. And yes, Brian, they're all huge, right? That was part of what I made a point to do, is get a lot of these baits that are realistic, not just in look and profile, but also in size, dude. Darren says, if I start making my own baits, would anyone be interested? Think it could grow and be successful? You know, I've thought the same thing, dude. I don't know. It depends on what you make, but I would give that a big fat maybe, because I usually prefer to support companies that I really believe in, that I can have confidence in, as opposed to just the little guys. So tell me what kind of baits that you would be considering making. Soft baits, hard baits, and more specifically, what would it be? Matt Thomas, maybe, dude. I'm gonna put one of these bad boys in a giveaway sometime in the next few days. I'm a little embarrassed to show you guys that I've got 5 fire craw jackhammers in my stock right now. But yeah, hit me up in my DMs on Instagram or otherwise, man. I lost a fire craw jackhammer just a few days ago, and that was very disappointing. So I know how you feel, man. And I do have a lot of jackhammers. I just sent 2 of them to James from Smackin' Bass over on Instagram last week, and I sent good old Will Perriman a couple of my favorite trout fishing jerkbaits, the Dynamic Lures HD Trout. So yeah, I like to be generous, man. Yeah, and it's just part of the deal, right? Will, I do have perch in my waters. It's some pretty decent sized yellow perch in a couple of my waters that have large smallmouth bass and some decent largemouth as well. So I, over the last 2 years, have been making a point to stock up on perch pattern baits specifically. So yeah, I'm thinking those will be great. And I don't really fish for pike all that much, but we do have a couple places that have pike and muskie. And as far as I know, pike are pretty cannibalistic, if I'm not mistaken. So let me know if that's true or not. And yeah, I thought those pike swim baits are a little bit gimmicky, but also a little bit cool. All right, guys, one other hard bait that I ordered in here, and then I've got a bunch of soft baits to show you. So this right here is the Westin Bass Bite Square Bill Crankbait. I probably should have gotten more than one of these. It's a rattling square bill. It is a 1.5 size. They make a 1.5 and a 2.5. So this is 2 3/8 inches long. Measures or weighs 7/16 of an ounce. So 6 centimeters long, 13 grams in weight. Couple cool things about this are the paint job. This is a very cool craw pattern. They call it fire craw. It's got a subtle rattle to it, and I like the fact that the bill is red too. So I didn't really feel like I needed square bill crankbaits or other crankbaits or some of the other the baits that they make that are a little bit similar to what else is on the market already. So I went out of my way to get stuff that is a little bit different. And that said, these square bills look pretty interesting, but they were a little bit expensive. I want to say they were like 11 or 12 bucks. So I ended up only getting one of them. So that's the one that I picked up. Darren says, hey Tyler, sorry I came late. What brand is Westin? Like, are they new? Never heard of them. No. So Westin is a European brand. So as you can see, Scandinavia, these dudes are based out of Denmark, okay? So they're a European brand that over the last couple of years, excuse my coughing, they've made a little bit of a point to enter into the U.S. market and target bass fishermen and even saltwater guys too. So I think for the majority of the time that they've been in business, they've made a point to stay international, stay in Europe, where there's a ton of pike fishing, things like that. So they haven't really targeted bass fishermen as much until more recently. And they've come into the U.S. I don't know if they won an award or two at ICAST, but they've had some products that are a little bit funny looking. You know, one was called Freddy the Frog, which is a wake bait, a jointed hard bait frog. Okay, so it swims on the surface and it looks like a frog, but has segmented legs. And then they also have one called Danny the Duck, which is a topwater frog style bait in the shape of a duck. And I know that Danny the Duck has made its way into a ton of mystery tackle boxes and things like that. So no, they're not new to the market at all, and they're not really new to the U.S. either, but they've been making a big push over the last year or two in trying to cater to bass fishermen and U.S. fishermen. So, like I said at the beginning of this stream, they recently created a dedicated website for the U.S., and that is westin-fishing.com/US. Now, I've given them some input. There are still some tweaks that they need to make in terms of navigating the website a little bit more easily and converting things to US-friendly metrics so that people know kind of what we're working with, because as you can see, these are big baits, right? This thing is like 8+ inches. This is a little over 7. And the weights are totally unique. So when you see things in grams and in millimeters, you have to do conversions yourself. And I'm a little bit used to doing those conversions. I can see that something's 44 grams and know that that's, 1.5, a little bit more than 1.5 ounces. I can see that something's 21 grams and know that that's about 3/4 of an ounce. But not everybody is familiar with that. So they're working on adjusting those couple of things and really doing a better job at catering to U.S. fishermen. So they've worked with some folks on social media, myself included, to try and get the word out there. So I picked up a package from them and just wanted to show some of these baits to you guys. Not everything is huge, but some of it is. So we're just going to stay big and then move smaller as we go, because I do have some small stuff in here. I know it might not feel like it at the moment because I still have a few more big things to show you. All right. So I've got 3 swim baits that I want to show you. Justin says, caught my PB cutthroat trout on Saturday. I saw that, man. Congratulations. That fish looked pretty cool. Will Perriman says, I put a billy goat on my fire craw jackhammer. Sweet, dude. Yeah, that's a good choice. What color billy goat did you put on there, though? Did you put the Heights Hot Craw on there or what? Because I've always wondered about that. I like to use the Crazy Flapper from Kitech, and I find this 3.8-inch size is just a wicked combo. So I did manage to take a couple pictures of that combo again before I lost the bait this past weekend. So you'll see that coming up on Instagram in the next few days, just because most likely I'm going to be giving away one of these Fire Craw jackhammers in a couple days as part of my giveaway. I've got Fire Craw in like 3 different chatterbaits made by Z-Man. So, does Westin have a website, or do you have to order through another website? Good question, Darren. I did mention their website is westin-fishing.com/US, but because their stuff ships from Denmark still, you do have to pay like $30 shipping plus an added tax because they're part of the EU. So, in my opinion, it's advantageous to buy stuff through someone who carries them already in the U.S. Retailers like Discount Tackle, or like Carl's Bait and Tackle, or Tackle Warehouse. Some of these products are carried there, some are not. So I made a point to pick up stuff that I know is carried on Discount Tackle, and some stuff that I know is not, but that I might try and get them to carry. So those glide baits, for example, are not on Discount Tackle, but you know, Mike the Pike and those hybrid swim baits, Mike the Pike and Percy the Perch are on Discount Tackle. So anyway, let's keep moving. Yes, Matt, I've fished the Hybrid Hunter, but haven't caught any fish on it yet. I think it's a little bit too early season. You know, I don't know how much it is going to differ from the 6 cent Swank. However, there's a size difference between them because the Hybrid Hunter comes in 2 sizes. So the larger Hybrid Hunter is closer in size to the Swank 77X. They're both really large crankbaits, shallow diving, loud rattle. You know, they're designed really by the same guy. Todd Castledine is in love with that bait, and there's some subtle differences like the fin and perhaps the action, but I haven't noticed any huge differences just yet. I'm trying to discover that this year, so I'll keep you posted about that, and I appreciate you asking. Oh boy, look at this swim bait right here, guys. I wish I didn't kind of break this packaging when pulling it out to show you, but good Lord. This is a 25 centimeter, 10-inch long swim bait, and this is in a pike color pattern. So this is called the Hypotees ST. And this bad boy is heavy, but it doesn't say on the package. So this essentially is what it reminds me a ton of the Mag Draft from Megabass, okay? In profile and everything. What's cool though is that this is like a Mag Draft freestyle. And so they carry these in I think 3 different sizes. This is the giant 10-inch size. I did pick 2 of these guys up. This one is in the smelt color. It's that same color bait as what I showed you in the glide bait, okay? So it's this natural smelt color pattern. It's got a green back, a little bit of a purple line down the middle, and then like a translucent belly with a little bit of blue on there. So gorgeous looking bait, 10 inches long. Would need an absolutely giant hook if you're gonna fish this thing weedless. So I picked up a couple pieces of terminal tackle, and I'm not quite sure how well these are going to match up on these baits or not. That was one of my complaints about their website, was that it was a little bit difficult to navigate the website. One, their terminal tackle stuff was not in stock. They didn't have very much stuff in stock at all, so that's a separate issue. But the other thing is that they don't really let you know what matches up with what. So, of course, you could figure it out on your own, right? That hook that I just used to open this package, of course, I done lost it. It was a giant swim bait head from 6 Cents. This is the Divine swim bait head. This is an 8/0 1-ounce head. I don't think it would be big enough, okay? Look at this. If I rig that on there, it's going to come out, oh, that might be okay. Definitely not quite enough, but it's actually not that bad. And of course, it doesn't fit into frame. I want you guys to be able to see what I'm doing here, but yeah, that is a big bait. So 8/0 hook is, you know, about right or so. And coincidentally, I did pick up a couple of their Roundup HD jig heads. These are 3/4 of an ounce, roughly, right at that, you know, 20 grams, and 8/0. So I like that that's printed right there on the head of these jig heads. This is a round ball jig head. Solid design for a couple reasons. One, you've got that 90-degree line tie. You've got a lead keeper on there. This might be a little bit small of a hook for this bait because look, you're not going to get a ton of clearance out the top of the bait. So I don't know. Honestly, I think a 10 or a 12/0 would be a little bit more appropriate. So I might look into some of those giant owner beast hooks to just try and figure out what would be best. But this does not have a hollow body, so it is a thick hunk of meat, which might be a little bit difficult to punch through. So the 8/0 hook on this 6 Cents Divine swim jig head, or swim bait jig head, has a much larger gap, and I like that. It's got a screw lock keeper and a bigger gap. So even though they're both 8/0 hooks, that 6 Cents one is probably going to suit me better in this application. That said, I might still play around and try and get something a little bit bigger, but this is quite a bait. Brian says, off topic, but do you have an opinion on the ringed EWG hooks? A couple pros have been talking about it having better action. It's an EWG hook with a split ring on it. Yeah, I have seen them. I've heard good things about them as well, but haven't really given them a real shot. So I can't quite speak to that, but in theory, yes, I think that's a good idea. It's just going to give a little bit more, as you say, freedom of movement, better action in general. So it does have a welded split ring on there though. So that's going to be a little bit better than just, say, putting a split ring on a hook, if I'm not mistaken. So Will says they have a hot craw that matches great, and I've trimmed the trailer down 1/4 inch. Yeah, it sounds about right. I've put the Heights Hot Craw on a Heights Hot Craw jackhammer, and it matches excellent. I actually put one on the Heights Hot Craw, the new chatterbait. What's it called? The cross eyes chatterbait. Okay. Yow. Okay, so I guess this comes with 2 setups, but I'm gonna hurt myself just trying to get this out. These hooks are sharp, yo. So these are stinger setups. Check this out. Oh, this is badass. I really hope this fits on this bait because that would make this a dream. Let's check it out. Wait a second. Okay, there's a piece missing here, which you do have to order separate, and I did. Now this piece, they call it a pro tailbait. Wait. Okay, so this is actually a little bit different, but all you need is a screw lock. And of course, my desk is a total mess. I've got these though, guys. So, a CPS spring from Owner is what we're looking for. And I believe this is the large size, which is what I want for this instance with these giant baits. And let's see how well this works, or if this even works, because again, I kind of had to figure it out as I was poking around the website. But here's what I'm thinking. We're going to go ahead and screw the CPS spring onto the front split ring of this guy. Well, at least that's what I wanted to do. See if I can get this figured out. So essentially, this is a stinger setup with a swivel to a split ring, okay? The only thing that it's missing is this screw lock. And I want to attach the screw. Come on. Gotta be smarter than this, Tyler. Almost. Almost. I swear, I'm close, guys. I had this same issue today in modifying a swim jig because I saw a post from the guys at the Hookup Tackle. You guys follow them? They posted a video on swim jigs the other day that was awesome. I got it. And essentially the idea was to use a Teckle Sprinker frog tail as a swim jig trailer. Okay, so check this out, guys. We've got a CPS spring in the large size. I'm just going to go ahead and give this a shot. We're going to go in the nose of this bait. Screw this puppy on there. And then this is going to lay down. The stinger is going to lay down the belly. And based on where this lays, we're going to insert this bait keeper straight into the bait. And let's see how this goes. Okay, not too shabby, not too shabby. And then we've got one more to lay in here. And this is going to be a little bit lower down by this back fin. Oh, wish me luck, because I am ripping these baits up by rigging it. But holy shnikes, guys. Look at that. I have this thing rigged like a mag draft. 10-inch mag draft, essentially. Rigged with a stinger set up on it. That is badass. Now I'm going to have to tie to the split ring up top. So I might actually take the CPS spring out and instead rig it into the nose of the bait instead of the chin. Because otherwise, I'm pulling this thing from the chin where the split ring is. But damn, I like this. Cool setup. So this package actually came with 2 of them, which is exactly what I need since I got 2 of these giant baits. How sick is that, guys? Dang. These are 2/0 hooks, 90 pounds of strength, and 6 inches long. I mean, it's exactly what I needed. I got to give myself a little bit of credit for navigating the website. But damn, I love that. So, I don't know where to store this thing because I can't exactly put it back in its packaging with the rig on it, I don't think. Well, kind of. I'll just lay this down somewhere until I'm ready to fish it. Can't hang it up or anything when it's pre-rigged, but yes, that was sick. Okay, like I said, I've got 1 more of these giant 10-inchers. Cool thing is they retail for like, I don't know, 12 bucks a pop. So not outrageously expensive as like single freestyle baits. You know, that's the one thing about the Mag Draft Freestyle. I absolutely love that bait, but it only comes in a 6-inch right now. And I've just been waiting, hoping that they put that out in an 8-inch version. And I don't know. When are they going to do that? Brian says, I could get that snagged in 2 casts. Yeah, well, we all could, man. So while we're on the topic of the smelt color, this is their version of the same bait in a smaller size. This is the Hypotees ST in the 6-inch, 15 centimeters long. And yeah, same exact deal. So very similar to, say, the Mag Draft Freestyle. It's got a little bit more narrow of a profile than the Mag Draft, but very similar tail action, very similar design, and I like it. So I want to say these guys retail for like $6 a pop, and I probably should have gotten more of them. I almost knew that I would regret that, but because I like the Mag Draft Freestyle so much and already have a bunch of them, I figured there's no real reason for me to get a bunch of these that are the exact same style bait. So I didn't do that. I would recommend that you get the Mag Draft Freestyle in the 6-inch because they're $12 a pack, same exact price tag. Now, they make this in a smaller size. So this is the Hypotees ST in the 4.5 inch. These come 2 to a pack and are like $6 or something like that. And this is pretty sweet. So I'm actually surprised at how much tail action there is coming from such a small bait. Of course, again, the profile is a little bit skinnier than with these other two guys, but it's a very soft plastic, very realistic placement of the fins, and great color patterns. I love this. And why did I not get multiple packs of that? This will go great on just like an Owner Beast 4/0, or you know, even just a standard like 3 or 4/0 jig head that's exposed, something in the, you know, 1/4 ounce, maybe even 3/8, and that is a sweet little bait. So that's the Hypotees ST, and I think they sell them on Discount Tackle, but don't quote me on that because I don't know for sure. All right, now I've got a bunch of other little swim baits. Oh, what do you know? I did get one more pack of those. That is sweet. So I got one other pack of the exact same bait. This in like a fire tiger color. Crazy fire tiger, they call it. Beauty. So it's got that orange belly, green back, yellow side, red eyes. Just a classic fire tiger pattern. I don't really have any fire tiger swim baits, but I like it. All right, got just a handful of other things. Yeah, you're gonna like these things, Brian. And I think most of these things are available on Discount Tackle, but I will let you guys know later. I wish I could open these and still be able to hang them up, but let's first talk about the Shad Tees, okay? This is one of their most popular baits as a company, and they make this in a wide variety of sizes. Instead of getting the Shad Tees in all of their sizes, I decided to go for the Hypotees just because I like the profile, I like the action a little bit better than the Shad Tees, but this type of bait has been a producer for a long time across many different companies. So, you guys tell me what type of bait this reminds you of, where it's got this deep belly and a thin profile. It's a very shaddy type of profile, but as it swims through the water, because it's got so much tail and a really thin profile, this thing rolls a lot, okay? So it has a pretty aggressive action as it swims through the water. This is a 9 centimeter or 3.5 inch bait. And this is just a natural, they call it bass orange. So this is going to mimic a baby bass or a few other types of forage that bass like to feed on. You know, it's kind of like an IU with a little bit of an orange tail, a little bit of orange on the throat. So just kind of a good all-around color there. The bass orange, they call it. And then I got one other pack of the same bait, but in a really cool color that they call Bling Perch. And check out Bling Perch. Hot damn, is that good looking. This is going to look that much better in photos than it does on video right now, but shoo-wee. Very cool perch pattern here. And they've got a bunch of perch type of patterns. I don't know that this Bling Perch is actually available on Discount Tackle or not, but I know that the Shad Tees bait is. And again, this is the 9 centimeter or 3.5 inch bait. And then I've got two other tiny little swim baits. This one is called Ricky the Roach. And they make this in a number of sizes, but this is the smallest one. It's 2 3/4 inches, just 7 centimeters long. So little guy here. It's got a different profile and a different swimming action. Wow, this reminds me a lot of, oh, there's a bait that's sold at Walmart. It's got this same exact tail. But of course, this is a lot better looking. And this color pattern is called Headlight. I thought I ordered a few things in this color, but apparently not. I was just big on the smelt color pattern. But Headlight is just like a straight shad. So, you're right, Will. Ricky the Roach is chunky. Yes, just like the Storm swim baits, okay? So it's got a fatter profile, a lot like a shad. Much better color scheme than those pre-rigged Storm swim baits. And I like that you can put these on whatever hook you want. So I'll throw this on, you know, a round ball Gamakatsu 1/8 ounce 2/0 jig that will just pair up perfectly with this 3-inch bait. So really like that. And I think these are cheap too. And lastly, this is the Hypotees, which again is made in a bunch of different sizes, but I'm going to destroy this to open it for you. This is the smallest size. So this is a 2.5 inch bait that in my eyes is going to excel on a drop shot. So this is a segmented swim bait. I like how these come in a clamshell. But wow, little guy, okay? So this is that bass orange color. So it's like an IU. Green back, translucent belly with a little bit of orange on there. This is a paddle tail, and you get a little bit more action than you would expect out of something so small like this, because it's a really soft plastic and it has a segmented tail, okay? So this thing swings and has a really decent action. And now I'm thinking maybe I should have gotten some of these in the larger colors or the larger sizes, because this is a cool bait right here. But at just 2.5 inches, I can't help but think that this thing is going to excel on a drop shot. I mean, in the immediate post spawn, when there are bass fry around, oh boy, throw this thing on a drop shot right around where beds were, where you've got fry garters, and this thing will get munched guaranteed. Okay? Last in the package, last thing for us to talk about, another thing that I have to destroy. This is called the Blood Tees. Another drop shot style bait made by Westin. But this is made to imitate a, I don't know, a bloodworm. So let's see what this thing looks like out of the package. Oh, very cool. I think this comes in a couple different sizes. But this reminds me of like a a San Juan worm that you'd use for fly fishing. This thing is tiny. It's a little 2 1/8 inch bait, segmented worm. So it's got like 8 or 9 different segments. It's got a little bit of, some legs up toward the head, and then just a bunch of segments and a tiny little tail. So super cool. This color is called bloodworm, and this other color I have is called sweet plum, which is exactly like you would think. It is like a red bug plum style color with some blue flake in there. So I'll probably post about those on Instagram soon as well. But very cool for what I think will be an excellent drop shot bait, and even a good multi-species or even trout fishing bait. So, wow. That was one that was kind of an impulse purchase just at the end, and I'm glad that I picked them up. So, I got a lot of really interesting stuff in this package from Westin, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. You tell me. Leave a comment. What was the coolest thing, in your opinion, that I opened tonight? Because there's a lot of really sick stuff in here that I opened. Hard baits, soft baits. I think once I actually rigged up this 10-inch Hypotees, this might be my favorite. And it looks just rad. So I can imagine this bait getting destroyed by a giant pike or muskie in some of the waters near where I live. Like I said, I haven't really gone out of my way to target those species of fish just yet, but now that I've got the tools to do so with some of these pike swim baits, I think I'm gonna have to do that. Don't you? Brian, what bait were you talking about when you said, how will that cast? I assume you were talking about one of those little swim baits. And they'll cast fine once rigged, on a jig head. But obviously a drop shot is going to cast a little bit different, so that might be a little bit more difficult. But Will says, how would you rig it on a drop shot? I'll nose hook it, dude. 9 times out of 10. Now, there's possibly the scenario where, if I'm bed fishing or fishing around bedding fish in the immediate post spawn where there's fry garters and there's some cover, some structure around where I know I might get hung up, then it's possible that I might Texas rig it on a drop shot. But I think I'm going to nose hook it 90+% of the time. So Brian says the small flat one, how will that cast? Good point. I don't really know, but again, I think it totally depends on how you have it rigged. So I think having it rigged on a ball head jig is probably your best bet. And I think it helps a lot to throw that thing on a spinning rod with braid to a leader, right? So if you're using anything less than 20-pound main line as your braided main line, casting distance shouldn't be too much of an issue. But if you're using straight fluorocarbon or mono, God forbid you're Ron Hawley, you need to keep light line and not expect a lot out of casting distance. And it probably will helicopter or roll a little bit in the air on a cast. So, yeah. Will says, I've never used a paddle tail on a drop shot. That's why I asked. Yeah. Still nose hook, man. Now, with like small stick bait style plastics, I'll wacky rig a drop shot. But nose hooking is what I do probably 80% of the time on a drop shot. I'll Texas rig if I'm getting hung up or if I'm around heavier cover, especially like laydowns and I want to throw a drop shot. But usually I'm not throwing a drop shot when I'm fishing around laydowns. It just depends on the situation. Like recently, I was fishing a small pond where there were some laydown trees and I could see a bunch of crappie stacked up near these trees. And I did not have my drop shot stuff on me. So I'm throwing swim baits and I'm throwing tiny jerk baits and I'm throwing even a trout magnet. Just a bunch of little stuff at the crappie that were sitting under the tree. They were not chasing anything. They weren't coming out for anything. And I was trying to target these fish and I was getting caught on the tree left and right. And very disappointing, but it's part of the situation. So if I had a drop shot, I'd probably first try and nose hook it, and if then I was losing a rig or two, then I'll go to a Texas rig on a drop shot. Otherwise, I'm nose hooking most of the time. With a stick bait though, sometimes the best action is going to be when it's wacky rigged, right? Like just a Texas rig versus a wacky rig, you get a very different action on the pull. And so if you're drop shotting, usually you're casting at specific pieces or areas where you know fish are holding. So you don't want the bait to move a long distance. So, small little pulls will cause that bait to lift up and fall back down and have the action that you want it to, whereas a Texas rig will not. Guggen Slayer, you are late, my brother. 72 minutes in, I unboxed this entire package. Hope you're having a great night, but I'm going to dip out of here in just a minute. It is about time for my wife to go to bed. She's been with our son for the last couple of hours. I'm sure has fed him by now, and my shift is about to start. I'll be with him for the next 3 hours or so while she gets a little bit of sleep before feeding him in the middle of the night once or twice. So, Brian says, I've been liking the X-Zone stuff. Their plastics are good. Yes, sir. I don't have a lot of their plastics. I've got a few of them, but so far so good. I'm very impressed. I agree, man. Their X-Zone Ned Zone Ned rig bait is one of my top 3 favorite Ned rig baits, if not my favorite. Absolutely love the colors, the buoyancy, the profile, the action of the bait. It's fantastic. So I think X-Zone is up to some really good stuff, and they got a lot of people backing them. So yeah, man. You think YouTube's hiding my channel from you? That's unfortunate, man. Good to hear that you're on a good jig bite, though, for sure. Brian says, Lake Fork was unreal. That spook putting in work, no doubt, man. Lee Livesey, I mean, congrats to him. That is sick. 42 pounds on championship. Sunday, Monday, Sunday. Absolutely insane. I mean, to think that Patrick Walters put up over 100 pounds and did not take the dub is pretty wild to just see how good Lake Fork is still fishing and probably will be for a while. So good on them, man. Absolutely will. I hope you enjoy the jerkbaits. Keep me posted on those. Again, really no pressure to send me anything back. I did not send you those baits wanting or expecting anything in return. So do not feel obligated to do that. Just keep me posted on how you like the action and what kind of success you have with those. Keep in mind, they are a moderate to fast sinking jerkbait. So I work them on a straight retrieve most of the time, and I'll work in some jerks. This is not a suspending jerkbait. It does prefer to be in current, but if you're going to fish it in still water, just work it on a straight retrieve, and it has an unbelievable action that fish just can't really resist. So enjoy it. Let me know what you think of it. Play around with it, and you will definitely catch some good trout. So, guys, that's going to do it for me tonight. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for hanging out. It's fun to unbox this stuff and take a peek at it for the first time in front of you guys, because I'm pretty impressed. I got to give a huge shout out and say thank you to the guys over at Westin Fishing. You'll see me posting a fair amount on my Instagram about these baits, and maybe even making a video or two about some of them here on YouTube. So, right on, guys. Have a great rest of your night. Have a good week. Brian says, dude, I still have that crazy chatterbait for you. Got to send it to you. Sorry about that. Yeah, dude, I want that. Send me a message, Brian, because I don't know. Did I say we were going to trade? Do I still owe you a bait? Because I want that chatterbait. I'm about to pick up one of the new Picasso Shockblade Pros that has a weed guard on it. Reminds me a little bit of like a hybrid between the cross-eyes chatterbait and a jackhammer. Looks pretty sweet. So, yes, Brian, send me an email, send me a text, send me a message here on YouTube, whatever. Get in touch with me, and yeah, we'll do a little trade or whatever is necessary. I want that chatterbait, though. So, guys, thanks so much for hanging out. Have a great rest of your night, good rest of your week, and I'll see you again in the next one. Cheers. Oh, shoot.